What is going on, y'all? Today I'm gonna be going over the one trade that I took and my reasoning behind taking, fading, and my overall thought process through the market. So coming into the day, starting on the daily, was looking very bullish. You look at both assets. We have previous day high to draw to on ES, daily fair value gap to draw to on NQ. So overall looking bullish. As well as we have an unmitigated 4-hour up here, a more premium 4-hour for ES to go, using as agreed upon DOL. Same thing with NQ. This daily fair value gap can be looked at as agreed upon because we did just hit a monthly gap down here. So now, whether we're going to be bearish or bullish, we will need the liquidity from this daily fair value gap. So coming into the day, very bullish. I didn't like our key levels today at all. A lot of just low resistance down here, lack of fair value gaps that we've created. So I had a 30-minute intermediate low marked out right here, as well as the 30-minute fresh fair value gap down here. And same thing on ES. I just marked out this correlated low to see if we, that's why I put parentheses around it. I just marked it out to see if we would SMT it because there was a trade that I liked to it. And then I marked out this 1-hour intermediate low. And yeah, so at market open, I was pretty bullish, looking for an open low high close ideally, but wasn't really expecting it. We distribute about 100 points up towards this daily gap. At this point, I am kind of just expecting to run to my DOL without an entry. Does not happen though. We do end up getting this is like a very bare minimum mech model right here. So reason behind fading this is this 5-minute is not technically open yet. That's the first issue with this. It will be open like right after the next candle closes, but there is still nothing really to go draw down to here. You close inside of a 3-minute. This is like pretty much catching a falling knife. There's no stop hunt. Like everything about this trade could be better. And so I faded this trade. I didn't really love it. You wait a little bit longer. 9:45 open was also happening soon. You wait a bit longer for 9:45 open. We open higher, retake this high. And then we get this 2-minute. Oh, okay. I guess we're going to Wayfair. We get this 2-minute inversion. This was beautiful. I think if you were going to take a mech today, this was probably the mech to take. I didn't personally love it still just because the fact that what are we like distributing off of? We do have a 4-hour on ES, but NQ is so far past its gap. That's the first issue. We edge a daily fair value gap. There's a lack of accumulation right here to show that we need to go hit this 5-minute down here. Like everything about this trade could be better, and I didn't think that this was a trade that I would be happy with taking a loss. So I did fade it. It does play out though, plays out very well. Now at this point, we have run through this 5-minute very well. We unfortunately don't get the 5-minute inversion. You get one candle short of getting the inversion. Not on that candle, next candle. You get one candle short of getting the 5-minute inversion. I think that would have been a beautiful trade if we got this 5-minute inversion. You inverse it on ES, would have inversed it on NQ, ton of LR leading up to this 30-minute intermediate low. Something I would have absolutely been down to take, but unfortunately never got the inversion. So hopping back onto the 1 minute. Now we can see that we are kind of flipping bearish here, expecting something lower, maybe to take us higher, maybe to just use as a condition and then run lower. But either way, expecting something lower here. At this point, you could hop on the 3-minute and take like this 3-minute discretional change in the state. After seeing the 3-minute get inversed with the CISD, the 5-minute fair value gap get inversed on the 3-minute. It's more of a discretional kind of thing. And with these wicks being printed, I would like to say I would take it, but I didn't see it in live time, so I guess we'll never know. It does play out though. You get break even. I'll throw out the RR tool for what I would have taken it with, but it does right about play out to a 1-to-1. You get edged by a few points. I would have wanted these full fair value gaps with the body, but I guess you could have gone to this fill and gotten a 1-to-1, I believe, just targeting this lower gap. I most likely would have been break even at this 30-minute intermediate low anyway though, so wouldn't have really mattered because I would have gotten break even right after we took it. And right there you would have seen I would have gotten break even, would have been out of the trade. Now at this point, what am I looking for? 10 a.m. opens and takes this, and this setup fails. I think it was like a 2-minute or a 3-minute right here, right? Yeah, there was like a 2-minute right here that didn't even get the inverse. You're catching a falling knife. Like everything about this setup could be better. So this fails. We get a remanipulation at this point. Generate some more LR on the way down. We get a remanipulation. And then we get a beautiful 2-minute inversion right here. Now, why did I fade this 2-minute inversion? Everything about this on paper does look very good. We have a 4-hour on ES, 4-hour that we are respecting on ES. We have a draw on both to go higher. We have clear manipulation on both with LR leading up to an agreed upon DOL. Why did I sit out of this trade? At this point, you can expect this 30-minute intermediate low to be a weak key level. We've mitigated it once, twice. This is now our third time mitigating it. It's a very small key level. I would expect this 30-minute fair value gap to get hit. You're entering on a PO3 candle, which is more so of injected volatility rather than a clean inversion. It's kind of like entering on the 930 candle. Like, everything has to be absolutely perfect to go enter on a PO3 for me. And edging this gap by like 20 something points, and I think we had a 1-hour intermediate low right over here. Yeah, so we had this 1-hour intermediate low on ES, which is a much better place for manipulation too. Because if you look at this 4-hour on ES, it's really just generated by a ton of low time frame LR. Like, yes, we have a 4-hour right here, but on the 1-hour, it's all just a ton of LR making up that 4-hour. So we have a much better spot for manipulation that we edge on both assets. I fade this trade just due to all those reasons. I was like, I would not be happy taking this loss. There's way too many cons and too few pros to go justify it with. So I wait. It does get stopped out, I think, in like 4 or 5 candles. Right after that, though, we get this beautiful 1-minute inversion. Now we have true manipulation with both assets taking a point of clean manipulation that should send us higher with this 1 minute, with all this LR leading up to this agreed upon 5-minute DOL. We have a very strong 1-minute inversion, SMT at the lows. It is a small SMT, but just from this candle to this candle, we have a small little SMT right there to go protect your lows even more. You could wait for a change in the state here and then just take this up to a 1-to-1. I personally just entered on the inversion. I had a lot of conviction in this 5-minute DOL, at least being used as a magnet. I would have loved to see it get hit, but it does not get hit. It actually gets break even before it gets hit. You could have held up to this internal high up here. I just took this to the lowest internal high. I've noticed a ton where in backtesting, I'll take something with a ton of LR leading up to an agreed upon DOL, and it'll end up failing, but I'll be so much in profit, and then I'll end up with a break even and just kind of wondering why I was greedy. So took 1.5 R, above my average RR. My average RR is about 1.2, so still above the higher end of the statistic. Very glad with the win. You could have held again up to these internal highs, could have held to the agreed upon DOL, but holding to the agreed upon DOL was not the play here, because as you can see, we just kind of chop lower until you either get break evened or stopped out. And that is why I don't like holding these trades all the way to agreed upon DOLs. I just like to use them as magnets, because at the end of the day, going for home runs every day, yes, you will hit higher RR when you do hit, but a lot of the time you just won't hit on those trades, unfortunately. So I really like the 1-to-1. There was no mechanical break even on this trade. I didn't really like any mechanical break even here, because what are you going break even off of? You have an obvious DOL up here with LR leading up to it. No reason to go break even anywhere in this range. If you went break even apart from like just going break even off of discretion, if you went break even off a level, there's no reason to do that. You're just defending LR leading to a DOL and attacking high resistance. So definitely use a little bit more discretion on break evens. And apart from that, that was my trading day. I ended the day up 1.5 RR, and yeah. I'll throw my executions on screen, and that's about all I have to say. Thank you guys for sticking around.